So the creator of Dragon Quest comes out and addresses something that you're not allowed to, and that is the fact that there is censorship happening in anime, happening in Japan, and this is due to America. He's talking about the ESRB, where they were forced to censor some costumes. But there is also censorship that a lot of people from the media are ignoring, and that is the fact that he was asked to make it, instead of male and female, body type A and body type B. And he finds that to be absolutely ridiculous. He finds that to be disturbing. And a lot of people ignore that, and instead they focus on the change in costume design for a female character. Now, when it comes to female characters in video games, I have noticed something very interesting. While the censorship is to make women covered up and, if possible, make women look more masculine, the games are filled with LGBT flags, with men that have pecs, that are shirtless, that look incredibly buffed. Again, Baldur's Gate 3 is a perfect example, right? I have this druid that's jacked up on steroids approaching me, and he's like, "Oh, let me take you to the forest, boyo, where I get turned into a bear so I can clap your cheeks." You know, not even asking me if I'm gay, not even caring about it. It's just like, "Precious to consent." And when I tell him, it's like, "Look, I'm in a relationship with this saggy tits elf shadow something something. She's the only thing that looks remotely like a woman. Like, leave me alone." He's like, "No, I'll take her as well, boy." You know, these are the video games in the West. The Last of Us 2, very disturbing scene that the journalist liked, where Abby is being taken from behind. And it's not like they're against sexuality, right? But for some reason, if you're saying, well, why can't female characters in games look like they used to look in 2018? It's like, "Oh, are you a Khmer? Do you like to masturbate, boy? Or what type of man are you?" You know? So, the thing is, like, they like censorship, but they don't like talking about why the censorship exists. Like there is no justification for it, because I would understand if the censorship was similar across the board, right? If they would be like, "Okay, we want to protect our youth, so all the games that aren't rated M for mature, no sexuality at all," like completely covering women up, like it's the 1930s. Were they covered up in 1930s? Okay, like it's the 1910. And we're going to make the men covered up as well. No sex theme whatsoever, no romance, no hand-holding, right? Because we want to protect teenagers. But that's not what they're doing. Again, the games are covered with LGBT flags and naked men. Like, that's fine. They seem to have an issue with heteronormativity. And you're not allowed to articulate that. If you do, you're a problem. And the issue with what's happening here is that Square Enix, I assume, is trying to get the interview with the creator, with the developer, scrubbed from the internet, because it makes them look bad. Right? What leftists want is for people to believe that these are artistic choices. Like, it just so happens that all of a sudden every single video game everywhere is going with body type A and body type B. It just so happens that in a lot of video games you see women over the age of 40 and they have square jawlines and they have broad shoulders and they're muscular and they all have the same type of personality, which is incredibly aggressive, incredibly toxic. These are all just artistic choices. It's not the fact that the United States is becoming more and more like China, which is like, if you want to push for entertainment, yeah, you do not get someone from the government to actually look into your product. Instead, you gotta bypass the censors from a couple of corporations, maybe 2 or 3 corporations that have to give you the go-ahead if you want to publish your game on a platform like Sony, Steam, or whatever. And by the way, when it comes for ESRB, I want to talk about it as well, because it seems that it may also have gotten co-opted. Like, I haven't really looked into it, but from what I see, it is kind of concerning, because they were having conversations about how they need to relook at the way they're rating games, because now they have to consider a global audience in mind, right? So is body type A, body type B type of shit pushed by the ESRB? I genuinely don't know. Are there, like, video games that in the past would have gotten a good rating, but if you do the exact same now, it will get you a higher rating. Like, for instance, if you show a warrior Amazon chick in a bikini, right? Would it have you getting the rating T14 in the past, but now you would get a mature rating from the ESRB? While if you have, let's say, Conan the Barbarian, and he's just having a loincloth and a sword, and he's muscular, would that video game be classified by the ESRB as T14s? Or would it be classified as M for mature? Like, again, my question is, do the people who work at ESRB, do they also enjoy video games that are filled with LGBT flags and shirtless men, while absolutely despising video games where you get to see an adult woman wearing a swimsuit and she's not morbidly obese, she doesn't have cellulitis or skin diseases, she's just like medium build, and maybe she's got like big boobs, right? So my question is, it's like, is it just like if it's a woman, then it's an M for mature type of game, just because she's like skimpily clad? But if it's a man, it's perfectly fine? Because again, like, most people assume that the ESRB is functioning the same way it used to function. But here you have a developer that's basically saying, yeah, when this game was released back in the 80s, no one had a problem with it. And now everyone is freaking out that I gotta censor it, and I think it's ridiculous. And it's to the point where he actually blames the Christian right for the censorship. Now, there is some truth to it. I have seen a lot of right-wingers that are freaking out over anime. They think that anime is making people trans or something. Because there's trans people in the anime community. Like, I don't know, there's literally in every community. Like, try Netflix, try Disney, try American products, and, you know, I don't understand the fixation with anime in particular. But okay, right, that I have seen right-wingers that are livid over anime. And it's not just like lewd anime, it's like most anime. Matt Walsh, the warrior-in-chief, the jihadist against anime, right? So there are indeed right-wingers that are actually making an alliance with left-wing people against anime. The left-wing people hate anime because of the heteronormativity. Right-wingers hate it because, again, they, for some reason, believe it makes people trans or some shit. I don't know. But their goals align. Anime bad. To be honest, there's also right-wingers that love anime, and there's left-wing people that love anime. Although, usually when I see left-wing people loving anime, it's like Yuri stuff, or, you know, some fringe visual novel that I never heard of. When I look at the images, I'm like, yeah, clearly not for me. It's kind of weird. But yeah, like, mostly there is some truth to it, that there are right-wingers. It's kind of interesting because when I grew up, they hated anime because of violence. Like, our parents were absolutely flabbergasted when they watched Dragon Ball and they saw, like, one android just put his hand through the chest of Yamcha and just killing him like that. Or when Frieza impales Krillin in his horn and then sadistically bounces him on top of his head, right? Like, those were levels of violence so over the top that the parents were freaking out. And now violence over the top is perfectly fine. Like, you look at Rick and Morty, no one cares, right? In fact, I don't think there is any level of violence that you can put in a video game or in a TV show that anyone from the West would freak out. But the moment you have a girl in a bikini, they not only want to censor it, they want to give her cellulitis, they want to make her tits and ass smaller. They will demand that you do not call her a woman and instead it's a body type B. And this is the censorship that's happening, right? And they want you to believe that it's natural, that this is like a developer's choice, when in fact, as you can see, it is actually pushed by the industry. And when a developer speaks out, it seems that companies are doing their best in order to scrub it off the internet. So let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.